Dan Illman, Mike Beer, the first of three graded stakes races at Santa Anita on Monday is race number 5. It's the Grade 2 Monrovia Stakes. Turf sprinters going 5.5 on the lawn. Let's take a look at this field of fillies and mares. And there are a few talented horses in here with different running styles. The 2 Alexandra has a strong late kick, and if you give her any kind of pace, you know she's going to come running. The 7 Jolie Olympica likes to be more forwardly placed. Nice matchup between horses with contrasting styles.
I agree with that. These are, in my opinion anyway, 2 of the better female turf sprinters in the country right now. Obviously, Jolie Olympica maybe has a little bit more to prove, but she's looked really good in her first 2 starts for Richard Mandella.
There's other speed in this race as we take a look at the Timeform US pace projector. Down on the rail, Steal the Diamonds is a very fast filly. I agree with Timeform US that she can make the lead, but Surrender Now is no slouch as well. Into Mystics coming out of a mixed breed 870-yard race. You got to think that she's going to be fast. So the pace should be really honest.
I think it should be. I mean, I guess, we still have to see if Into Mystic can bring her speed over to turf because she's never run on it before. But she's fast, and the other 2 fillies that you mentioned both have good speed.
Steal the Diamonds has been just a great claim. Mike Pipe took this horse for $80,000 4 starts back. In the interim now, she's won 2 out of 3. Won the Sunshine Millions Filly and Mare Turf. She just missed 3 in the Sensational Star this race last time out. She tried the boys in this Calbred heat. She showed her usual good speed. She has the lead turning into the stretch, and she's just going to get run down late.
Yeah, I mean, listen, she really went a pretty solid pace on the lead in here. You can see she looked home free there at mid-stretch, but she can't hold on at the end. I thought she ran fine, Dan. It was against the boys. Prior to that, when she won the Sunshine Millions, I thought she got a little lucky there. That was a very soft pace for that distance, and she took advantage.
Alexandra is the number 2, and she just shows an exciting stretch kick. If you don't believe me, take a look at her victory in the Franklin County at Keeneland, her last start. She's down on the inside in the Team Valor green and red, and just watch her fire in the stretch. It looks like for a second Rosario's going to have nowhere to go. He decides to split horses, and once he gets through, he just blows by a decent turf sprinter in Morticia. There should be some pace for her to run at here. And the races she lost last year, she had excuses.
She did. I mean, listen, she's just a really good horse. And you're right, Dan. Just if she's in range, coming to about mid-stretch, she's not going to be easy to hold off. In a lot of ways, I get that Jolie Olympica has more speed than she does, but in a lot of ways, this might be the horse to beat. She's really good.
I think Ginger Nutt has a lot of ability. She also has a lot to prove, returning off of a lengthy layoff, beaten favorite against the boys in her most recent start 11 months ago. But I thought her North American debut at Gulfstream was a good, solid performance. She backed that up with a win at Keeneland during the spring meet. She is a filly, though, that needs a little bit of pace. And the question is, does she have that same kind of kick as Alexandra, especially off of this elongated layoff? Maybe this isn't the spot, but I'm interested in watching her progression this year.
Yeah, I agree with all that stuff. I liked her last year when she got over here for Sadler. Real bad trip there at Gulfstream Park in her first start over here, and she looked good winning that Keeneland Turf Sprint. I have sort of high hopes for her, but you're right. The layoff is a concern, and then she's going to have to outkick a really good horse in Alexandra. She may not be able to do that.
Surrender Now, the 4, figures to be pushing the pace, along with the number 1, Steal the Diamonds. Her most recent start was her first race off the layoff. They ran her in the Grade 3 San Simeon against the boys. I'm going to take that race with a grain of salt. Her races against fillies and mares are solid. I'm just worried if a prolonged pace battle would soften her up for the stalkers and closers, because the stalkers and closers seem to be the one to beat.
Yeah, they do. So we'll see if she can get the trip that she needs. And she's very consistent. She shows up and she runs her race every time. I just don't know if this is the spot for her.
Here's Miss Hotlegs' last start on February the 12th. She was back in the stakes ranks. This is the restricted Wishing Well. She sat second, and she's going to finish second. I thought it was a solid performance. She is not yet proven to be a true stakes horse. She has some tactical speed. She shouldn't be too far away when the real running commences. The question is she good enough? I thought for a second there she was going to pull it off.
I thought she did. I actually feel like she ran pretty well on that race, Dan. And then, of course, prior to that, she had won her previous start, and I thought she ran well that day, too. I think she has a lot of upside, and I think she could take a step forward in here, but I just don't know if this is the right spot for her. This is not an easy race.
Class and surface questions abound for the number 6 Into Mystic. This was a very expensive purchase that really hasn't panned out despite the solid 3-for-9 lifetime record. She does have some turf. Into Mischief is a solid turf stallion, and she has a little bit of versatility as well. I mean, she has won from off of the pace. She obviously has to improve by leaps and bounds. I mean, turf has to make her a new horse.
Yeah, it's just a really tough spot to make a switch like this. I won't be surprised if she handles turf. There's a little pedigree on the bottom. Her dam is a half sister to a grade 3 winner on the grass. So there's a little pedigree here, and she's a good dirt horse. I just couldn't bet her in this race.
Jolie Olympica is the number 7. She won her first 4 starts. The Las Ciénegas, 2 starts back, her North American debut off of a long layoff, going 5.5 furlongs. She ran great that day, sitting just off the leaders and won under only hands and heels urging. They stretched her out last time in the grade 2 Buena Vista going a mile. She was bet down to odds on. She made the lead. She might have just had to go a little bit too fast. We turn into the stretch. Jolie Olympica has a clear lead in there. Keeper of the Stars at a big price is going to run her down, but Jolie Olympica tries hard. Mike Smith was very confident aboard this horse till about the furlong pole. When she was confronted by Keeper of the Stars, she fought back gamely.
Yeah, I mean, she ran okay in here. I guess there's no real excuse for her, but the pace was solid. Maybe ultimately she didn't want to go the mile. She ran okay. Her prior start, when they sprinted her, was real good, as you mentioned. Did that basically on her own power and got a fast figure for it. So we'll see what happens. If you go back and watch some of her races in Brazil, and I know that's maybe not an apples-to-apples comparison, she didn't need to lead in those races. She was perfectly comfortable stalking and finishing really fast.
And I think that's those are the tactics that Smith will utilize here, a la the Las Ciénegas. I think she'll be sitting just off of the speeds, ready to pounce. She'll get the jump on Alexandra and the closers, turning into the lane. Just grazed me as the 8. She's a graded stakes winner over course and distance. She won the Senator Maddie 3 starts back. A little bit disappointing, however, in her last 2 races, beaten as the favorite both times.
She was. I gave her a big excuse for the Sunshine Millions. That pace was just too slow. I thought she actually ran really well, even though she couldn't catch Steal the Diamonds. Last time, I was a little more disappointed. She didn't run that well against the boys last time. But prior to that, Dan, her turf sprint form was excellent. This is a race that she could win.
Turf pick time for the grade 2 Monrovia on the grass. Mike, you're going with the 7, Jolie Olympica, the big fig race on the sprint. 2 back points her out. She's going to get the jump on the closer. She has a recency advantage over Alexandra as well. I just think if you give Alexandra a fair pace and a clear run, that she's going to kick. I think she's very good, and I think she has a chance to run down Jolie Olympica. You're going 7-2. I'm going 2-7.
Yeah, I mean, they're really the 2 main horses in here for me, Dan, that's for sure. I just took Jolie Olympica hoping that the cutback really works for her. I know she's a short price. I just like her race. I think she's pretty good.
She is pretty good. Alexandra's pretty good, and there are a couple of other pretty good ones in here as well. And a lot of good horses on the Memorial Day Monday card. The grade 2 Monrovia is an approximate post time of 2:30 Pacific. Good luck.